Hello, just wanted to do a quick video just to show people a little bit of everything about an aquarium. This is a dual 190 litre 50 US gallon corner aquarium. These tanks are quite hard to aquascape and stuff like that because you don't have a lot of room, you have more depth. It's a 60 centimetre deep tank. You have room from front to back but not much from side to side, only at these very front corners, and then it gets shorter and shorter as it goes to the back, so there's very limited room in there. We'll start off with the substrate. I use some 2 to 3 millimeter pebble stones, got them from Amazon. They was about £6 for a 20 litre bag with free delivery, so it was really cheap, and they're proper made for aquariums. Underneath this substrate I've got another layer of substrate, which is a multi-mineral German made substrate, good for plants. It was quite expensive. This box, it says 160 to 250 litres, which should have covered my tank, but it didn't really. It was quite shallow. Could have done with probably 2 boxes of that. Plants are growing like crazy. I've got them only about 3 weeks ago. It was like 50 plants off of Amazon. It was about £9, about £2 postage, and they've literally tripled. I've had to cut them, replant the stems. I've had to trim various plants in here. You get stuff like, I don't really know the names of these, but I think that's Kambomba or something, which I've doubled up. I've cut them, they grown to the top, cut them in half, replanted them, so I've got double the amount of that. Water wisteria, it's looking good. It's everywhere. There was Amazon swords. I moved this one here because it was in the middle and it just got too much shade where the stuff was growing around it. There was still some in the middle. If you see through there, there's a small Amazon bunch of swords there, another one behind it, another one deep in there. They need a lot of light and I don't think they're going to do very well. It's quite a dark spot in the corner here. Might have to move it and trim. We also got some baby dwarf tears. I didn't get these with the package, I bought these separately. They have only been in about 5 days. This grassy stuff, couldn't identify the exact type it was. What else is here? Pennywort. I believe that's doing well now. It was sort of dying up when I first had it. It's growing quite nicely in the corner there. The Anabias Nana, which I had before I bought the plants. I bought them about a year ago. It was 1 plant, a bit smaller than that. It ended up becoming 4 plants, which 2 of them I chucked away because I didn't have room for, so I kept these 2. All you do is cut them here and replant them. I use super glue on this one, but you have to make sure that your wood dries. Take the plant out, let it dry around the bottom a little bit, glue it on, hold it there, let it dry fully before you put it back into your tank. This one was tied on by cable tie a long time ago. It's got a lot of root. I had to trim the roots because they were just everywhere. There was more root than plant. We've also got in here, I think that's called Elodia or something like that. It's got a nice pink top on that one. Some at the back is growing tall. Over the back here. Over the back here. And there's also, I think it's this one here, Polysperma, Hygraphilia polysperma, and some here as well. It's got a nice pattern on the leaf. I do not know the idea of this plant here, So if anyone could put that in the comments, that'd be useful. This wood I got a few years ago. It was too big. I had it in a nano tank. I cut it into about 4 or 5 pieces. These little white dots here, these are actually snail eggs. Some old, some new. The same on this one. They've just been laid recently. They won't hatch because I don't have any salt in the water. They are from these guys, the zebra nerite snail. Can't breed in fresh water. They need brackish water, otherwise the eggs will not hatch. But they stick around for a long, long time. Have 8 of those guys in there now. They're absolute monsters when it comes to cleaning the algae. They're brilliant. If you've got algae, buy these guys. They're quite expensive here in England, £2.50 each. You may be able to get them cheaper if you buy them from someone who breeds them at home or something. But them guys are great. They're absolutely brilliant at cleaning algae. I can hold the camera steady for you. They continuously work away. It appears in the corner there, I've just noticed that I have some shrimp skin, so one is shredded. It's very hard to find a shrimp. I have what I was sold as Sakura shrimp, which is supposed to be like a deeper red of a red cherry shrimp. There's one guy there. There's another one behind him too. There's about 6 of those guys in there. And they're just running around like crazy. They're great with plants. They don't destroy the plants. They only eat dead leaves. They clean algae. And I have very small fish, just neon tetras here, so they won't get eaten by anything. I also have Malaysian trumpet snails. They help to keep the gravel turned so you don't get any anaerobic build-up, no gases, nothing harmful for the fish. Those guys will breed like crazy. The more food you put into your tank, the more they'll breed. But they don't eat the plants, they don't cause any trouble, they just do you a good thing. People call them pest snails. They're not pests, they're actually very good for your tank. I have actually in here some baby leptosoma, Cryptomosis leptosoma. I had a cyclic tank here before. I sold the leptosoma and a couple of the females were holding, and as I fished them out to sell them, she spat them out and I couldn't be bothered to catch them. So they're doing alright in there. When they get bigger I'll sell them as well. They're quite an expensive fish, a nice cichlid. Very, very good to watch them. As they get older they'll get colours. The males will get colours, females will stay like grey colour. I have about 90 neon tetra in there. All doing great. Now for the equipment. I have this 2000 litre mini wave maker from All Pond Solution. Blow in this direction. This spray bar, I have it at an angle. This is from an All Pond Solution. It was a 2000 litre per hour with a 9 watt UV in it. I'll just show you here. This big guy here. Now the power of this was too much for this tank. It created like a whirlpool because it's so powerful. It can do a tank easily 2 or 3 times the size of this. So what I had to do was, with the spray bar, I drilled more holes in it so it dispensed the outflow a lot more evenly, so it was less pressure. And what I've done, I've got it at an angle and each individual piece aimed at different places. So this first one is just hitting down here. The second one is getting some water movement, but it's under. And then right at the end it's just above the water, so it's more like a spray bar. So I'm getting like 3 different outlets from one spray bar there. Internal filter, the dual bioflow 3.0. It's big, it's quite a slow turnover, but I just left it in there anyway. Extra filtration. Inlet on the same side, outlet. I took the nozzle off and it just hits the intake of the external filter there. As you can see, the water's moving up the top. Now it's a bit dirty. I've actually just bought, and I'm waiting for it to be delivered, another inflow pipe, which has the end the same as this, but it also has a pipe with a surface skimmer on it to try and keep clear this, to help with light penetrating the water, to keep it. It's always dusty and oily here in my water. Lighting, I have in there T5s, 2 T5s, one dual highlight day, another one, a bulb I got from Aquatics, and it's a marine 14,000 Kelvin tube. I had 2 light reflectors on them, which I had to remove one. The other one still got it, and it makes a lot of difference when you add these light reflectors. You get more light in your tank, less light. So before I wouldn't even be able to show you this because the light would be so bright, shining upwards, where this reflects it all back into the water. The second one I removed because I just got this LED unit. This is a Mars Aqua 165 watt LED. It's got blues, reds, greens, violets, whites, warm whites, marine whites. It was a cheap one. It's a cheap Chinese made LED unit. It was about £70 with postage included. So £70 total. It's not as good as I thought it'd be. I just got it today. I think it might need to be risen up and suspended over the tank to get the shimmer effect. I'm not getting no shimmer effect in here at all. The light spread, as you can see if I come back, you've got quite dark sides on the left and right, and the more light in the middle. So I think if I raised it, it might spread a little bit more. Having 2 plugs for each side, you have 2 switches. One controls the blues, and the other one controls the, I think it's the full spectrum of the reds, violets, whites, warm whites. 2 dimmers, it's going to be dimmable. 2 power cords, which looks a bit ugly hanging out the top like that. It's got no sort of timers or LED display or anything. It's very basic. 2 fans, which are really noisy. If you turn it to about 50% light and the dimmers, they turn off. If you want more light, you have to put up with these noisy fans. So I'll show you, that's the thing there. If we turn up 100% on both lights, you're getting a bit more blue, you see that? I haven't tried this at night, I just got this today. Turn it down, maybe turn off the spectrum. It's just a blue effect. It looks ugly. Probably better suited for a marine tank. Turn the blues off completely. So you can play around, find how you like it. I might just have the blue on really low, turn off my T5s, and maybe have a very low blue, so it's like a moonlight effect at night, or in the evenings before I go to bed. And if I show you, the lights are on, the LEDs are on, and the fans are off, like that. It's about 50%. I had to modify my lid for this. I cut a big square out, so it sits on the top. I've got this thing here blocking because what I've actually done, I've cut out like a kind of box shape with the foam, just because I wanted it to sort of be shining towards the front of the tank a little bit more, to try and get to this baby dwarf tears. Yeah, these lights, I wouldn't recommend them. I'd recommend a longer, an extra £30–40. You get a longer one. This one's quite short. It's a bit ugly, noisy. Also, the actual LEDs, there seem to be just white LEDs with a coloured plastic cap on them to give the colours. I don't know if that's normal or not, but they do seem cheap. They are cheaply made. There you go. Weekly, do 25–30% water changes. I use just Tetra Aqua Safe.